All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Finback Brewery, and they're out of Queens, New York, and this is their Caviar. So this is a triple IPA that comes in at 10% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. This can is just over 3 weeks old. Now, recently I took a trip to the Rochester, New York area and went to a release at the Other Half Brewing Company, but after that, I went to the One Stop Brew Shop in Rochester, New York. Fantastic bottle shop. If you're ever in the area, check them out. Great guys. They have awesome beer. I mean, they have some beer that you can't even find in Rochester, New York, and that's because occasionally they will take a trip downstate to the Hudson Valley, to New York City, and bring back beer. Now, when I showed up at their bottle shop, they had taken a trip downstate it was like 3 or 4 days beforehand. So they brought back a bunch of goodies, including the most Finback I've ever seen in Western New York. I believe they had somewhere between 8 to 10 different Finback beers. I spent a pretty penny at Other Half, so I just made a mixed 4-pack of the beers that intrigued me the most. This was one of them. Now, I am not a huge triple IPA guy, but I do like trying them out, especially when they're from breweries that I think do a great job in general. And I think Finback over the past year has been killing it. So when I saw this, I was like, I got to give it a go. And that's because on the label here, it says triple IPA, triple dry hopped with pellet and cryo hops, Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe. So they're using pellet and cryo of all three. And it also says no fish were harmed nor caviar used in this beer. So they just wanted to clarify. But yeah, this sounds like it could be delicious. And I cannot wait to get into it. I already did a roll on it. So let's give it a crack and a pour, see what we got going on with the Caviar from Finback. So yeah, it's pouring out like you would expect a triple IPA in the New England style to do. Yeah, the label's kind of just, it's solid. But the thing about Finback, they have the small labels. And half the time, like, it's just a small little piece of it. So it's weird when I'm trying to set this up, like, how do I put it over here? Anyway, yeah, that looks super turbid and murky. Has a pretty bright orange color. Kind of looks like orange juice, about a finger of an off-white head. That plays the role of a New England style triple IPA, in my opinion. Let's get a nose. Yeah, just over 3 weeks old, and this is smelling great. Tons, and I mean tons of juicy orange tangerine, peach and apricot, big stone fruits and citrus fruits on this one. Not as much to the tropical side like pineapple and passion fruit and lychee and stuff. This is more stone fruit and citrus fruit oriented. It has like a slight spiciness to it, like an herbaceous spiciness to it. But for the most part, it just smells sweet and juicy. Now, this has been on my fridge for about a half an hour, so it's probably in the 50, maybe low 50 range. Man, it smells, I just want to go back and keep on smelling it because it smells like a fruit bowl of just like citrus and stone fruits. Like, it's like you got peaches and apricots and mangoes and oranges and grapefruit. That's what kind of it just smells like a fruit salad, like a fruit salad. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Well, the first thing I can tell you is there's only a couple breweries that I've had triple IPAs from that can hide the alcohol extremely well on a 10 to 11% triple IPA. And after the first sip in this one, I can tell this is a bigger beer. First off, body's a little bit thin. Higher side of medium body, lower side of full body, 10%. I've mentioned this numerous times, so why not do it again? But I'm okay with that when it comes to big triple IPAs. I don't want them to be thick and juicy and viscous. I do want them to be, you know, bigger because you're drinking a 10% beer, but I don't also want it to be just like overbearing on the body. So it's appropriate for what I'm looking for, but it might not be appropriate for what you're looking for. The mouthfeel, it's soft, it's smooth, it's creamy. They're probably using a bunch of oats and flaked wheat and crazy stuff in here. Yeah, but it does have a little bit more carbonation than I thought it would. A little bit of spritziness on the palate. The flavors, though, it kind of just follows over from carries over from the aroma. Big, juicy orange tangerine, ruby red grapefruit. And then there's a ton of peach and apricot. Not as much as of the mango that I was getting in the nose, but big stone fruit vibes to this one. Almost like, because of the sweeter malt base, I am getting like this nice biscuity, crackery, slightly bready, just not even grainy, but just, I'd say more biscuity and bready than anything. I'm getting a sweetness from, obviously, the malt that kind of reminding me of like peach gummy rings. As it passes through the palate, though, that herbaceous spiciness kind of pops in. kind of breaks up the monotony of sweetness and just like full-on juicy fruit. It finishes pretty damn dry. It is sweet, but there is a real nice dryness that balances out the finish, because so many triple IPAs finish so sweet that it's like, I want half of that can or maybe a third of that can. I can drink the rest of this. I'm gonna have no problems. But the alcohol is noticeable. It's not really on the palate as much as like maybe the back of the palate, like on the finish. It's not like all over the palate. And then there's a big warming into the chest. Honestly, if I was doing this blind, I'd probably guess around 9-10% just on what I'm tasting. So I will say though, I'm getting this slight vanilla character. Makes me think there's lactose in here. I feel like they have to mention it on the label, or they would mention it on the label, but I don't see it anywhere. So I'm gonna say they're not using lactose. Maybe it's just the malts and maybe the hops in conjunction with one another. Yeah, this is really nice. This is kind of like the flavor profile, just the quality and character of the beer reminds me of some of the better ones I've had, you know, the other halves. And I've had a 450 North one that I really enjoyed in the Vale, and a couple other breweries that really know what they're doing when it comes to Dragon Saddle from Bluefire. They're probably the best, one of the best I've ever had triple IPAs. But because the alcohol is noticeable and it's not as complex as those beers, I can't give it the score that I would get. Like a lot of those beers get 4.5, 4.75, a couple 5 out of 5s. This is not to that level, but it is a damn tasty beer. So Caviar from Finback, the triple IPA at 10%. I am going to give this a straight on solid 4.25 out of 5. It is a tasty beer. I'm going to be able to finish the rest of this, enjoy every second of it, but the alcohol is a little bit too noticeable, and there's a little bit too much going on, or a little bit, I was going to say too much going on, I just said the opposite. It's a bit more subdued than I want from this beer. That said, it is good, and I can't really knock it too much aside from those couple facts, for me anyway. They're facts for me, probably not for you. So if you've had Caviar from Finback, I'd be curious to see what you think about this one, because I'm enjoying it, but I still don't think it's to the level of the triple IPAs that I love. So anyway, 4.25 out of 5, Caviar Finback. Pretty damn good beer. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by for another beer review. Also, like I said, with the alcohol, even though it's not on the palate, even as I'm talking right now, there is a big warming in the chest, and I just feel warm in general. So definitely noticeable. Keep that in mind if you have any plans to pick this one up at any point in the future. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. To the next one, cheers.